When I woke up and checked the news this morning, I saw that Trump said he could care less that Americans would have to pay thousands more for new automobiles and pickup trucks due to the Republican tariff taxes. I think that's an honest statement by him. His rationale, which demonstrates his inability to do a fact based and informed cost benefit analysis, is that more US made cars will be sold. The average price of a new vehicle is about $50,000, according to Kelley Blue Book. Adding 10,000 or so, in many cases much more than that, to the price resulting from the Republican tariff taxes will price new vehicles so high that most Americans will no longer be able to afford to buy one, or if they do buy one, will have no choice but to significantly reduce discretionary spending in order to afford the payments on the new car. And used car prices would go up as well due to a surge in demand as more U.S. consumers are priced out of new car purchases. Congress, by the way, has the constitutional power. You wouldn't know it by the way the current Congress is acting. In Article 1, to levy taxes and tariff duties. This is found in Section 8 of Article 1 of the Constitution, and I will quote. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, end quote. That is not a power given to the President in Article 2, even though the President is exercising exclusive power on the tariff issue. All Senate and House Republicans are responsible for Trump's tariff taxes since they have blocked a vote on whether to keep them. In another section of Article 1, the Constitution provides that the Congress, not the President, has the authority to, quote, regulate commerce with foreign nations. Even in a best case scenario where U.S. auto production increases some at the expense of foreign made or assembled passenger vehicles and pickup trucks, and there are a few thousand high paying jobs in the U.S. that are created as a result rather than more layoffs. The downside is that everyone pays much higher prices, and the bottom four quintiles in household income are squeezed further in both their discretionary and essential purchases. I would add something that bothers me in particular is that Trump has, on behalf of the United States, declared that our nation will not abide by the trade treaty with Canada and Mexico that's called the USMCA, that he negotiated and signed during his first term. He is doing that by repealing through executive order the tariff-free treatment of autos from Canada and Mexico into the United States, provided 75% of the parts and 70% of the aluminum and steel are manufactured anywhere in Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. And now, under his executive order that usurps the power of Congress and violates the trade treaty that he signed, the U.S. importer will have to pay a tariff on the value of parts that are not made in the U.S. And that is for cars shipped from Canada and Mexico into the U.S. and many of the auto parts as well. Why would anyone negotiate a new trade treaty with the U.S. if our nation has already proven through the actions of our current president that it will jettison provisions that it had previously agreed to based on the unrestrained decision making of a U.S. president on topics that are in the exclusive power of the Congress. A treaty signed by Trump would be worth as much as one signed by Putin. Neither would be worth the paper that they're written on. Trump has been signaling for months that the goal of the Republican tariff taxes is to reshore more manufacturing in the U.S., primarily by destroying the economies of Canada and Mexico. Investors are still reacting to what he is doing as if this is a negotiating tactic to secure better trade terms, rather than his ultimate goal. I heard the Morgan Stanley market strategist, I think his name is Mike Wilson, make that kind of claim that it was just a negotiating tactic and the tariffs will be, at worst, a short-term event with limited economic damage. And that appears to be wishful thinking, head in the sand thinking, based on what is known now. But we'll see how the stock market reacts to Trump's latest statements soon enough.